So this past week, there's been some discussion about flight sim content creators and ethics. Now, I've been watching it all play out from the sidelines, from those making the accusations to those responding to the accusations, and watching the audience react to it all in the comments section. But in all of it I've seen so far, there's been one critical bit of information missing. So at the risk of getting my head bitten off, I figure I'll give my 2 cents for what it's worth. So the root of the discussion seems to come down to 3 core areas. Number 1, clickbait titles and thumbnails. Number 2, getting free stuff and not disclosing it. And number 3, getting free stuff while disclosing it, but being overly positive in an attempt to stay in the brand's good books. So to address point number 1 of clickbait titles and thumbnails, I think it's important to distinguish between creating an engaging thumbnail and title versus creating clickbait. Now, in my mind, creating clickbait is like having a thumbnail and a title that is super engaging, but then having a video on the other side of that that doesn't live up to the promise, or worse still, the video is just completely unrelated to the title or the thumbnail. YouTube is a really tricky game. It's all about the title and it's all about the thumbnail when it comes to getting views. You could make the world's greatest video, but without an engaging title and a thumbnail to back it up, it's likely that it's going to fail. The next time you're scrolling your YouTube feed on your phone and you kind of stop to look at a video more closely, potentially even watch it, ask yourself why that was. Now, if you click through and what's presented is an absolute load of rubbish, then sure, that's clickbait. Sadly though, if you want views, you've kind of got to play the game a little bit when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. And it's not like it's the fault of the YouTube algorithm, because all the algorithm is doing is trying to find videos for people to watch. So really, the YouTube algorithm is just a representation of the YouTube audience. It's the audience responding to engaging titles and thumbnails that tells the algorithm, hey, this looks to be going down really well and people are sticking around to watch a good chunk of the video. Why don't you show it to more people? And that's how videos spread. That's how they grow, through the recommendation system. I will never begrudge a creator for making an engaging title and thumbnail so long as the video on the other side holds up. And if it doesn't and you click away from the video, well, guess what? The YouTube algorithm sees that too, and that will hinder the video's performance. So it is all kind of fair in my view. So the best advice I can give to you, to anyone, would be to just vote with your feet, but don't hold it against creators for trying to stand out. I guess you could say that, well, you shouldn't be doing this for views. You should be doing it for the passion of flight simming. And to a point, I agree. But I could still be very passionate about flight simming and simply not bother making any content and have a good chunk of my life back. To put it bluntly, I work really flipping hard on this YouTube channel. I'm not complaining because I love it. But, you'd have to agree, it would seem like a really pointless endeavor to do all of this and not get any views as a result. As it's the views that get people chatting away in the comments and the live stream chats, I can't tell you how many awesome simmers I've met this way and would now class as friends, despite us never actually having met in real life. It would, though, be wrong of me to gloss over how views also means money. But let me tell you, it isn't as much as you might think. I'm having a really good day if I make £3 per 1,000 views. Some videos pop off to some degree and do well, but most of the time I'm kicking around the 10,000 views mark after 2 or 3 weeks of the video being live. Generally, to make a proper video, in air quotes, takes me a minimum of 6 hours to plan it, to record it, to edit it, to make the thumbnail, make a title, do all the YouTube descriptions, the tags, upload it. Now, I've got a very full life. I've got a family, I've got 2 young children and a job, and finding the time for the channel is always a struggle. In fact, I'm recording this now while my wife and kids have gone to the river with the dog, and you could argue I should be there instead of here doing this, but I guess to build something you've sometimes got to make sacrifices. Now, for those that don't know, before the kids came along, I worked in software development, and around 6 to 9 months later, I left my job to be around more for the kids, while also doing software work privately, usually in the evenings while they were asleep or during the afternoon nap time period. God, I miss those nap time periods in the afternoon. That was so great. Anyway, I was gradually, though, losing my passion for software development, and I kind of felt like something needed to change. Fast forward then to when it was time for the kids to start school, my services were no longer required between the hours of 9 to 3, so I had a choice to make about kind of where my life goes next. It was one of those like family meeting type situations. Option number one was for me to go back to software development full time, and that would have meant putting the kids into what the school calls breakfast club between 7 and 8 a.m. and then picking them up from the after school care club at around 6 p.m. The look on their faces when they realised they'd be in school for 10 to 11 hours a day was something I'll never forget. So that then moved us on to looking at option number two, find a job, any job that I can do between the hours of 9 and 3 p.m. while the kids are at school. Keep in mind at this point the channel was a thing, but it was very early. We were monetized on YouTube, but it was really only enough to get a pizza each month. Now, rightly or wrongly, we decided to go with option number two, which, as you might have guessed, ended up being a crappy job in retail. But I figured it gives the kids a better life. We can come home from school, play football in the garden, I can obliterate them on Rocket League, while still having the brain space left for running and hopefully growing the channel. I found when I was in software development, I would start the day with grand ambitions, as to how productive I was going to be in the evenings, working on all of my side projects. But honestly, after a full day staring at a code editor, in the evening, the last thing I wanted was to sit down again in front of a computer. Whereas now I find myself creative again in the evenings, kind of ambitious to go and make something cool. So initially my retail job was for 4 days a week, but any of you that have worked in retail, you'll know it's the kind of place where they're always begging for overtime, they're always short-staffed, so I could make up a full week if I needed it. But ever so gradually, the channel started to earn its keep. Now, fast forward to where we are now, and I'm very fortunate that I've got quite a large back catalogue of videos that aren't kind of popping off by any means, they haven't gone viral, but they each still get a good few views every month, which collectively amounts to a good chunk of passive monthly views, which has allowed me to dial back the day job somewhat to the point now where I'm at home on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday where I can exclusively work on the channel, well, between the hours of 9 to 3 anyway. I won't lie to you, the goal is to eventually do this full time, and for the last 6 months I've been wrestling on what to do about the day job. If you add up all the revenue streams that the channel has, I've out-earned the day job for the last 6 consecutive months. Now, again, that sounds quite dramatic, but keep in mind when I say day job, I'm talking about quite a rubbish job in retail, and it's only part-time, so it's actually quite a low bar. But I can't help but wonder if there's an opportunity cost to staying in that job. Like, what would the channel look like if we had more time to stream, if we had more time to make videos? I don't know, let me know in the comments. This is all to say, you're damn right I will try and make an engaging thumbnail and a good title to try and grow the channel, because the more I can grow the channel, the more time I can justify putting into it, and the more channel there will hopefully be for you to enjoy. But I'll say this now, I will never knowingly try and clickbait you, and this has been something that's been on my mind recently, particularly now that I'm kind of doing this as a part-time job and there's money riding on it. And that could therefore lead me to make questionable choices in order to make a quick buck. And that's certainly something I want to avoid at all costs. If you feel like I've ever done that, or if you ever see me do it in the future, please call me on it. I'm only human, I'm not perfect. So please call me on that stuff if you see it. It's something that I want to avoid, certainly. All right, very, very quickly to address point number 2, as we went on a bit there on that last point, not disclosing sponsored content. To anyone that's doing this, don't do that. There's a box when you upload to YouTube that you have to tick if you're doing any form of paid promotion, which then lets viewers know. You probably see it when you click through to a video. I think there's a little badge on the top left of the video player. But it's important to understand what this means. It doesn't necessarily mean that the creator is being paid to make the video. It could just be that the creator was given something for free to make the video. I always click this and discuss it in the video so that everyone's clear. There have been a couple of occasions where I've made a sponsored video, and again, the box is checked in the back end of YouTube, and I'll thank the brand in the video for sponsoring the video. Now, when I say something is sponsored, that means I'm getting paid. If somebody just gives me a product to make a review or whatever, I'll still check the box in the back end of YouTube and then thank the brand for providing the product in the video. It's not just a case of being transparent with you, which I think is extremely important. It's also against YouTube's terms of service to not check that box in the back end, and also even against the law. And on to point number 3, getting free stuff while disclosing it, but then being overly positive in an attempt to stay in the brand's good books. Now, to start with, of course, we need to acknowledge that I have been sent stuff for the channel in the past, and I think it's fair to say we haven't done a ton of it, and that's mostly because I'm really picky about who I work with on the channel. So far, I haven't had to make a video slamming a product, and that's mostly because I'll only accept a product for review if it looks like it's something I might actually want to buy. I'll generally do some research on the product first, therefore the probability of me liking the product is quite high, unless it just outright sucks for some reason, but we haven't been put in that position yet. So you might be wondering, well, why would I only accept what I think is the good stuff? Maybe you think I should be accepting all of it and calling out the bad stuff kind of as a service to the flight simming community. And the reason is really boring. The reason is tax. Now, I haven't seen this mentioned in any commentary so far, and it's kind of what prompted me to make this video at all, as I kept waiting for people to bring it up, but unless I missed it, no one has. So as the channel's grown a bit, I figured it would be a smart idea to take on an accountant, as I'm now obligated to submit tax returns here in the UK as a result of having the channel. Now, I'm very fortunate my accountant specialises in working with content creators, and speaking with him in our initial discovery call, one of the first things he asked me was, are you taking any free stuff for reviews? As it's all considered taxable. Now, this isn't financial advice, do your own research, but based on everything I've come to understand, if I accept a product that's worth, say, £1,000, I owe tax on the £1,000 value of that product. So if I'm in the 20% income tax bracket here in the UK and I accept a £1,000 product as a freebie to review, I'll owe £200 in tax. Just like if I'd invoiced a customer for £1,000, I would owe a 20% income tax rate on that £1,000 through the invoice. Therefore, you need to be super careful about how much stuff you accept, as you could end up with a massive tax bill if you don't keep track of it. Obviously, not declaring it isn't an option. That would be beyond stupid, particularly as I've left a trail of evidence in the form of my YouTube channel. Take my most recent review as an example, the Moser AB9. If you add up the cost of the AB9 base, the stick they sent along with the desk mount, that's totalling £677. Now 20% on that is £135.40. Now I'm not complaining, as paying £135.40 in tax is a small price to pay to get a Moser AB9 and all of the trimmings, but if I was to say yes to every single offer, I could be in for a massive tax bill at the end of the year, which could be financially ruinous. Now you could say it's okay because you're getting YouTube ad revenue, that will pay the tax burden, but think back to what I said earlier. If you're making £3 per 1,000 views on a good day, I mean sometimes it's less than £2 per 1,000, my Moser AB9 review is sat just shy of 10k views, those numbers are upside down. It's not even close to paying off the tax burden. Therefore, if I'm going to pay the tax on stuff, I really only want to be accepting things that I might actually like and could be part of my simming setup on a daily basis. I couldn't afford just to accept everything in order to have a look out of curiosity. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a massive amount of naivety surrounding this. I'm fortunate that this YouTube channel isn't my first time around the block when it comes to business and bookkeeping, etc. So I was prepared for this ahead of time, but I could imagine this coming as a real shock to a lot of creators when they eventually find out. Rest assured though, if I didn't get on with the product, I'd tell you. I've just worked too hard on this channel to throw it all away to stay in a brand's good books. Again though, if you ever feel like I'm missing out something in a review, please call me out on it. Next up, I wanted to talk about affiliate links. Now, I think affiliate links are great. Even before I was a content creator, I used them all the time to support creators that pointed me in the right direction on products, be it flight sim stuff or otherwise. I mean, they literally don't cost you anything, but can make a huge difference to a creator that's likely not earning a fortune to begin with. There have also been times where brands I've worked with on product reviews have then gone on to sponsor videos on the channel. For example, Toby approached me at the beginning of the year to sponsor a video after I reviewed their eye tracker the year prior. Similarly, I'm currently working with Pimax on some sponsored videos following reviewing their Crystal Light headsets. All disclosed, but importantly for me, these are products that I actually liked during the review process. Therefore, I've got no issue with the brands going on to sponsor further content on the channel. I kind of have a rule that if I like a product, I'll allow the brands to sponsor videos and I'll use affiliate links if they're available. On the other hand, if I reviewed a product and found it to be lacking, I would be telling you what I found in the review and then I would not promote it any further on the channel. With the affiliate links in particular, it just seems like a no-brainer really, although I suppose there is the potential for them to be abused. I mean, I could go around saying that everything's amazing, just so then you might use an affiliate link to buy it and I get a kickback, but I think that would be a very bad idea long term. I mean, people aren't stupid, they'd soon figure out what you're up to, and before you know it, you'd be left with a channel that no one takes seriously and likely a derelict as a result. I guess with all this stuff, the best advice I can give you is just vote with your feet. I can't speak to what other content creators are up to because frankly, I don't know. But I've gotten to know a few of them through running this channel, and my instincts tell me that they're decent people who are working hard to bring you content. But I just figured I kind of owed you this video to bring you up to speed on where I'm at, what my motivations are with the channel, and what my motivations are when I accept products for review on this channel. But anyway, I'll leave this one here. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Please do feel free to leave your comments and your thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for all the support on the channel this far. It's it means the absolute world. But until next time, you all take care of yourselves, be good to each other, and as always, happy flying.